Good evening. Welcome to the City of Hialeah Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. Everyone please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Grant us wisdom, unity, and compassion as we serve the city of Hialeah. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You seem short, sweet, and good.
Meeting guidelines. The following guidelines apply to today's Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard. All lobbyists must register with the Planning and Zoning Board prior to item being heard. A maximum of 4 speakers in favor and 4 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the Planning and Zoning Board on any item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Roll call. Mr. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Mason? Mr. Iglesias is absent. Mr. Jimenez?
Here.
Mr. Ulloa?
Here.
Mr. Santiesteban?
Here.
Mrs. Enrique? Here. We have a quorum. Administration of oath to all applicants and anyone who will be speaking before the board on any item.
Anyone and everyone that's going to speak in front of the board, please stand and raise your right hand. Todas las personas que van a prestar testamento frente a nosotros, pónganse de pie para jurar, please.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth before this board? ¿Usted jura o afirma decir la verdad ante esta junta?
Thank you. Let me see. Let the record show the answer was on the appropriate.
Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at its scheduled meeting of Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. LU1, small scale map amendment from low density residential to transit oriented development district. Property is located at 951 East 24th Street and 2881 East 9th Avenue, Hialeah, Florida, zoned R1, one family district. Applicant, George Navarro, Esquire, on behalf of Thomas Vasquez.
Thank you. Tonight's meeting is actually twofold. It's a land use amendment and regular planning and zoning. So we only have one land use.
Only one,
Okay.
yes.
So that will be you. After we're done with you, then we'll go back to the planning and zoning. Everybody's been sworn in, so good to go. Name and address, please. Turn the microphone on.
There we go. Good evening, Mr. Chair, board members, George Navarro with offices at 333 Southeast Second Avenue. It's great to be before you. Would you like me just to present the item or?
Let her read it into the record first, and
Perfect.
then we'll open the floor for you.
We'll be
Thank
ready.
you. Microphone.
This application is requesting a land use amendment from low-density residential to transit-oriented development district for 2 lots, one located at mid-block and the other located at the northwest corner of the block. The block is surrounded by East 28th and 29th Street between East 9th and East 10th Avenue. The majority of the block received a land use amendment from low-density residential to TOD pursuant to Ordinance 2023-92 approved on September 21, 2023. These 2 lots are the last 2 lots within the block to be converted to TOD. This block, with the exception of the two lots under this application, receive a rezoning to TOD pursuant to Ordinance 2023-84, approved on September 21, 2023. The TOD regulations, as adopted in 2016, intended to promote and encourage mobility options within half-mile of the Tri-Rail station. The proposed properties are located less than half-mile from the Tri-Rail station. This land use application is coming along the rezoning application to TOD. The proposal includes the entire block to be developed as a mixed-use project with 642 dwelling units and approximately 21,000 square feet of active ground level uses. The requested land use is consistent with a comprehensive plan, future land use goal for transit stations redevelopment. Based on the analysis of the existing infrastructure, the properties, if developed at its maximum intensity, meets concurrency. Recommendation: approve the land use amendment.
This right there, right next to the Tri-Rail and Metro Rail.
Exactly. It's one block that you already approved almost the entire block, and then you have these cases where they are delayed in deciding if they sell or not. So these are two lots that will be completed the entire block.
Neighbors to the new building going up. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, name it out.
Thank you. Yeah, so just for the record, George Navarro with offices at 333 Southeast Second Avenue. I have a short presentation because I think it's very helpful to the board. I'm going to keep my comments short. Can you go to the next slide for me? So the lots in green are the lots that last year we came before you, we did not have yet. We had not acquired. And we made a commitment to this board to come back to work hard to try to acquire those lots from the property owners, which I'm happy to report we have. And the application before you tonight is simply to add those two missing pieces from this block into our TOD project so we could do a unified project and match the TOD zoning that already exists on the remainder of the block and that's been approved, as you can see, directly to our south. So that's the intent of the application today, and it's consistent with everything that we've proffered before, and we're happy to have been able to get these two lots, and which the effect is going to make this project much better. So I'm just here to answer any questions that you may have and hope for your approval.
Good deal. So you're gonna have the whole.
Correct. Yeah, we were able to basically acquire the hole in the donut, and one of the things that it's helped us do is it has the same setback, same height, same massing as before. It actually helps us improve the ground floor retail because now we have that corner piece. It helps us improve the circulation because we've been able now to provide ingress and egress on both sides of the block. Before we were limited only to the north side. And we've also been able to, with this lot, increase the amount of open space that we have by a total of an additional 16,500 square feet. So we designed around it at first, knowing that we'd come back, but now we've been able to put it into our project, and now we'll have the entire continuity within the block.
Good deal. I like that analogy, the hole in the donut.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. Comments or questions? Comments or questions from the audience? Anyone in Zoom? All right, closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second motion.
We have a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Rio. Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Santiesteban,
Yes.
Mr. Rio,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez. Yes. Mr. Mason. Item has been approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, that will conclude the land use part of the meeting. We'll now move on to the planning and zoning.
Item number 1, approval of planning and zoning board summary agenda of March 27th, 2024 as submitted. Motion to approve. Motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Rio. Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Santiesteban,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez. Yes. Mr. Perez.
Yes.
Item has been approved. A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the city council. The city council is authorized to affirm with conditions, or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, Contact a member of the city clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision and resolution. Upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution, contact the building department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file of proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the city council before its hearing.
I want to highlight this one, that this paragraph that she just read. This is the first stage of an application. You come, you get the approval, but then once you get the approval through an ordinance or a final decision, you need to get that document and put it with the plans and go to the building department and pull the permits, because without pulling permits, this is nothing. So let me repeat it in Spanish. Esta es la primera fase de todo un proceso. En este proceso, ustedes van a obtener una aprobación con un papel que es una ordenanza, una decisión final. Eso les va a servir para ponerlo junto con sus planos que tienen que llevar al departamento de construcción y sacar los planos. Esto de por sí no es ninguna aprobación, es una aprobación preliminar para después poder ir y construir de la manera que quieren construir o legalizar o de lo que se trate su aplicación.
The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the city council at its scheduled meeting of Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. Item number 2, final decision to allow rear setback of 2 feet and 7.5 feet where 14 feet are required, as per ordinance 90-14 for an existing terrace and rear addition to be legalized. Property is located at 3195 West 70th Street, Hialeah zoned R1, one family district. Applicant, Jades Gonzalez, on behalf of Elio Perez and Tamara Abul Perez.
Name and address, please.
Alex Gonzalez, my name. And the address is 3195 West 70th Street. And with me, she's the owner, Tamara Abdul. Yeah, Tamara Abdul. And we are seeking approval from you to maintain the foot too distant from the property line, because that's the way the property when she bought the property. We are trying to keep as much as.
Can you give us a second?
We'll read the recommendation and then you will be able to talk.
Okay.
about it. The subject single-family home was built in 1991 on a substandard lot as granted by Ordinance 9014 that allowed the replatting of the subdivision into 0 lot line substandard lots and 14 feet rear setbacks. These types of subdivisions were allowed at the time with the intent of reducing lot sizes to reduce costs in the construction of small 3-bedroom homes. The property has an open code case for building an addition with new electrical panel, window, door, and with an AC unit. This is not a homestead property. A terrace was built at the rear without the benefit of a building permit, and an addition, including a hallway and bathroom, was built by enclosing part of the terrace. Said addition has a hallway and bathroom and is currently connected to a bedroom that is not connected to the main house. It also has a split AC and direct entrance from a gate on West 32nd Street. It is clearly an additional living quarter. Another exterior door was installed on the east side of the house, also with direct access through a gate on West 70th Street. The property also lacks the required 30% pervious area, where 745 square feet are provided and 1,020 square feet are required. No plans to remove concrete and provide the required pervious area have been submitted. At this time, the applicant is before the city requesting a 2-foot rear setback for the terrace and 7.5 rear setback for the rear addition on the northwest side of the house. Given the existence of the 1 and maybe 2 additional living units on a single-family home that is an investment property and the reduced pervious area, the application should not be approved. The recommendation is denial.
Thank you. Can you pick up where you left off if you can?
Do you understand the recommendation or you need a translation?
It's been denied? Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Without-
recommended for denial. It hasn't been denied or approved yet.
Okay.
We have to hear your case and talk amongst us.
Well, the the property was bought in that condition and we are trying to, to comply everything under the code. But we are seeking your approval, how I said before, and of course, we have, after this step, we have to go back to building and, do everything under the proper, code.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board?
You currently live there?
We live in the house.
So this is not an investment property, you're not?
It was, at the beginning when we bought it, it was an investment property, but not anymore because my family, I have like two more, my grandparents came from Cuba, so they have two small kids. So we decided to rent the other property that we used to live before, which is back in Hollywood, and now we're living in that property.
When you purchased the house, the addition was already there?
It was already there, as I understand, it was a single owner, the lady that we purchased from. And we went through the whole process, with the title company and everything, even we do the roof with the permits and everything. And it passed inspection and everything. And after that, I realized I got a letter on the mail saying like that, that part was illegal. And then I come here and when I checked, they told me like that terrace and everything under it, it was done with no permit. So I have no idea. And then I went back to the title company. They have nothing to say about it. The
Yeah.
only answer that I got is I bought the house, now I have the problem.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to fix it because if I have to demolish that part, I'd be losing square feet that I bought already. So then my property is not, it doesn't have the value that I paid for.
And why that room is not connected to the rest of the house and has an exterior door and like
It
a
is
gate?
connected, inside is
Well,
connected.
the plans that you presented show that it's not connected, so there is a problem with the plans.
The plan shows that is not connected.
Who prepared the plans?
All the bedrooms and bathrooms are connected inside the house. And that one has an exterior door. I don't know, I bought it like that. I haven't modified anything. It's the same as I bought it.
No,
The plans show that it's not connected and also there is the front of the house. The side of there is another door with a room and a bathroom. So the impression here by looking at this is that this has like a main house and two efficiencies.
yeah,
Through the chair. What option does she have to correct this issue?
Well, block the side door and then demolish that addition because that addition, the only thing that adds is a bathroom and a hallway. So that doesn't take out any functionality of the house. The house already has 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
through the chair. And is there a way that they could have more time, maybe go back and make new blueprints or something, This is obviously, this is not gonna go through. You have something that is not legal. It's affecting it's affecting your neighbors. You have 2 feet from their house, so
Mhm.
it is what it is. So do you need more time to fix this? You need to get somebody involved?
I understand the only thing that I'm looking for here is I use that restroom that is under the terrace. That's the only reason that I need to keep the approval for at least a partial roof of the terrace so I can keep that bedroom because I'm using it. Because otherwise I'll have to sell the house because the purpose that I bought it was to move my family over there. It's not functional anymore because we can't fit all of them in there.
And why you don't have a homestead exemption on this home? if it's
Because
the
we
home-
just moved like 3 months ago. We bought the house on September 22. So we haven't finished the process, like finishing on the other side of Hollywood and then changing everything over here. And we have this issue that we need to figure it out. We're gonna fix it how, and if not, we'll have to sell the house.
Do you understand the question as to why the homestead exemption? Do you understand the question?
I do understand, but as I understand, I can have homestead exemption in 2 properties. So
Correct,
I have
correct.
close that one over there and in order to. apply
Right.
this.
Well, the main reason the question is being asked
Uh-huh.
or brought up is because if you don't have homestead exemption on that property,
Mhm.
it leads to believe that it is your second property, your investment property, your rental property. So, but now you claim that you live there.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's the issue.
I mean, Mr. York has, you know, has a point, maybe you need a little bit more time to come up with some better paperwork or work with
Chair?
staff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is very complicated and it seems you're a little confused. I mean, I would recommend you get an attorney.
Yeah.
Like, we could do a motion to table this and then we could come back and you could, you know, work with the planner, city planner, have an attorney. I see there's at least two really good attorneys here present and there's a great architect and, you know, and do this the right way. We could do motion to table and, you know, come back prepared.
Well, wouldn't it be something else to the table? Because tabling is just for the next meeting or something, right? Wouldn't
Well,
we need
that-
more time than that? 'Cause-
It would have to be tabled for a specific date.
We
So,
could do you think in a month you could get
I
some?
would say so, yes.
So maybe we
I mean, if the board decides to table, say for like you said, a month or 6 weeks or what have you, but it will have to be a date specific. Or withdraw, yeah.
Yeah,
Chair?
I would do a motion to table for 6 weeks.
Yes,
Prior to purchasing this property, wouldn't you have to do a reoccupancy inspection that all of these issues would have come up?
Is that what you do when you use the title company?
Well, the city of Hialeah, I think requires a reoccupancy inspection.
Requires that some skip it.
So at this time,
Yeah, I went to my title company, apparently they did.
can you
everything.
speak into the microphone,
Yes.
please?
So I did the process as every owner do, and I haven't, I mean, this is my second time buying a property. I never had this issue before. I used my same previous title company and nobody come up. So I was like, and it was an old lady what I was buying for. So I didn't thought this was gonna happen ever in my life to me, really, very unfortunately. And then, as I told you, after that, we renewed the roof, we did the permits, everything went fine, we passed the inspection. And after that, like a week or after, I got the letter from the inspector, like all of that was illegal. I was like, how come? I did my roof, everything.
The roof is considered like an emergency improvement, so when you come for a roof permit, they just give you the roof permit and they
Oh.
don't look at the rest of the things. That's
Okay.
why you got the roof permit.
I understand.
One thing that you should consider whether you want to table, you know, postpone this meeting for 4, 6, 8 weeks into the future
Okay,
to give you time to get your affairs in order.
mhm,
One thing that you should consider is the homestead exemption.
okay,
That carries a lot of weight
okay.
because
I
remember,
didn't know that. That's.
no, especially in a case like this one, it carries a lot of weight because like I
Okay.
told you before, if you don't have homestead exemption, it's like, you know, it's an investment property, it's a rental, you don't live there. You know, it
Yes.
opens the door for a lot of possibilities. So
I understand.
look into that.
through the chair. And another thing, you don't want to get a denial because it's gonna make everything more complicated. So at this time, we could give you more time. I would motion to table until.
He has a motion though, so
Motion
Oh, okay.
to table until
But-
June 19th.
Well, I'd like to hear her.
hold on.
uh,
But there's a motion, but Deborah, if
Okay,
you,
okay.
if you would like to, she has the option to withdraw her application as
Yeah,
well.
the-
And if she withdrew her application, we can, when she brings it back, we won't charge her for the new application, so
It's better
she's
that you
not
withdraw.
set on a certain date that it's tabled to. But right now, there's a motion to table, so whoever made that, Mr. Menace, if you made that motion, you
Yes.
can keep that motion, or you can withdraw your motion.
I keep my motion until June 19th. Motion to table until June 19th to give you enough time
Okay.
to find
Yeah,
a
but-
competent attorney to help you out.
It'd be more beneficial if she withdrew.
Well, now,
He's
Yeah,
not
but-
an
but
attorney.
a
Motion
mo-
on the table.
Okay.
but a motion to table trumps everything. So since there's a motion to table, we have to go off that.
Before we get a second, Manny, you say you want to say something real quick, even?
Manny Rose Architect Offices at 18501 Pines Boulevard. They need to contact their code enforcement officer because they have a timeline to comply. So to make sure that they know, write them a letter or something, because we do that all the time for our clients to make sure that they don't get sent to a higher court date as,
The master, the special master.
yes. So make sure, please, they know that.
See, you heard it from
Yes.
you heard it from the expert.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Manny. Okay, so we have a motion to table to a specific date. Do we have a second? And you do agree with that, right?
June 9, right?
19.
No, 19, yes.
Okay, do we have a second? No second?
So then the motion dies.
Motion dies.
And you have the opportunity now to either move to approve the item, move to deny the item, or the applicant can withdraw their item.
Okay, so we're gonna throw it back to you.
Yeah, because. I'm
Okay,
sorry,
if you withdraw the item right now, if you
Mhm.
withdraw the application, as the attorney said, it'll give you, does she have like an open-ended or on your offer?
There would be no application, so she can bring back the application whenever she's prepared to bring back the application, and we'll waive the fee.
There you go. So
Then-
there, yeah,
Then we
So,
will withdraw.
yeah,
Yes.
so that might be the best bet for you.
Okay,
So you will withdraw?
yes.
Okay, so,
So item number 2 has been withdrawn.
okay.
But she's not gonna get charged or anything, she doesn't have to do anything all over again.
Yeah,
No.
we'll,
It's-
what
it's
she,
best
what
fee.
she paid, we'll transfer it to the new application.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
that's important.
Thank you.
Celis.
As was said,
Yeah.
seek legal
Legal,
advice.
yes.
Because, you're,
Yes,
you're in a little bit of a pickle,
okay.
okay? Thank you.
If you have this from your.
Yeah,
That's an
if you
attorney.
have the set of plans, if you could just. Thank you.
Okay, so item 2 has been withdrawn.
The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the city council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. Item number 3. Rezoning properties from R1 One Family District to TOD Transit Oriented Development District. Properties are located on 951 East 28th Street and 2881 East 9th Avenue. Hialeah zoned R1 One Family District. Applicant George Navarro, Esquire, on behalf of Thomas Vasquez.
Name and address, please.
Sure. Good evening, George Navarro with offices at 333 Southeast Second Avenue.
Thank you. Let
The-
her read it.
These two parcels are part of Block 82B under page 34, Book 26 of the plat recorded under Miami-Dade County located between East 9th and 10th Avenue and East 28th and 29th Street. These two parcels are the last two parcels to be amendment to transit-oriented development within the block. The remaining parcels receive a rezoning to TOD according to Ordinance 2023-92 approved on September 2023. These two parcels are currently approved with single-family structures. Since the project owner was able to purchase the last two parcels from the latest approval, the rezoning is proposing to redevelop the entire block as a modified mixed-use development with 642 dwelling units and approximately 21,000 square feet of active ground level uses. The revised project includes 95 studio types, 263 one-bedroom units, 93 one-bedroom plus 10 units, and 191 two-bedroom units. This residential composition plus the commercial area yields 753 required parking spaces, and the project proposed 824 on-site parking spaces with 39 off-street parking spaces that are on-street parallel parking spaces. The project is to be developed as an 8-story structure, including parking garages and a ground floor level amenities along ground level commercial spaces. The applicant has submitted a parallel land use amendment application. Therefore, this application is subject to such land use amendment approval. Recommendation approval.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, this is the companion item for the item that you heard earlier this evening. This is just to match the zoning to the land use that was just approved. We're not asking for any variances or parking reductions. This project's being fully designed in accordance with your TOD regulations. And we're very excited to move forward with this project and continue the redevelopment of that area in accordance with your TOD district and complement the ongoing development that's going there, including Metro Park, which is just topped off. So with that, conclude my presentation, ask for your approval and here to answer any questions.
Okay, so basically these two parcels would be, for lack of a better word, will be absorbed into the big picture and any and all conditions or restrictions or amendments or what have you that are with that big parcel apply to.
Correct. What
So-
we've done is essentially we've taken the prior approval. All we've done is just we're adding in these two lots. And then obviously it was much more difficult to design this project without those two key
Mm.
pieces. It was a corner piece and then mid-block piece. So what we've done is now we've completely redesigned the ground floor and make the building a lot more pedestrian active, increase the retail at the sidewalk levels, increase the internal amenity spaces for the residents. We provided a lot more internal recreational facilities, and we have a lot more open space. So adding these two pieces has really resulted in a better design of the project. We have a rendering of what it's going to look like now with that corner piece. And as you can see, it's almost identical to what we provided the first time from the outside. You can see some of the ground level now that we've been able to improve. And we're excited to move forward with this project. And there you could see that was the original site plan. The areas in pink are the two lots that were missing, which we just changed the land use to. And then if you could flip to the next side, that is the new site plan. And you can see that now we have complete circulation between the block for vehiculars and pedestrians. And we've been able to increase the length of the retail along 10th Avenue. So we also have a much more improved lobby space, and we've been able to add a significant amount of recreational amenity space, interior and exterior, for the future residents.
What a difference a lot makes, huh?
Yeah, totally.
All right, thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Anyone in the electronic audience? Closes the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Santiesteban. Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Santiesteban,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Thank you so much. Have a nice rest of the evening.
Item number 4, rezoning property from R2, 1 and 2 Family Residential District to P Parking. Property is located at 1171 West 69th Place, Hialeah zoned R1, 1 and 2 Family Residential District. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Esquire, on behalf of Adolfo Nunez.
Good evening, Cesar Mestre with offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street. And the architect on the project is Manny Reyes, who's here next to me. We do have a little request, if you can indulge us. This has a companion item, which would be item 6. So I was just wondering if we could move that one together with this item 4. Would that be okay?
So you want us 4 and 8 together, 4 and 8.
4 and
4
6
and 6.
together.
4 and 6, yes.
Correct.
4 and 6, okay. Okay, no problem.
So should I read?
Wait a minute,
item
are they-
something
They're gonna be following each other, or they're gonna be?
together?
There's going to be a unity of title if everything goes well.
That's the
So they're all
word.
going to travel together.
That's the word. Okay.
But we'll go first with item 4 and then we'll go with the other.
So should I read item?
Let's do one and the other one. They are different.
It's the same thing, only different.
Yeah, no, there are cases where you repeat what you just read, but these are different. So this property is located at the north side of West 69 Place, currently developed with a single-family house structure. The structure was originally built in 1961 and is approximately 8,031 square feet, according to Miami-Dade County records. The property is being proposed to be rezoned to parking district from R2. The current property owner is proposing to use this property as a parking lot to serve a proposed school located at the adjacent west lots. The proposed site plan is to accommodate 15 parking spaces, including an accessible parking space, a new two-way access driveway, large landscaping, including trees and bushes, and 6 feet concrete wall along the west and north property lines. Lighting and drainage are also to be included during the building permitting process. These improvements are to be according to the plans prepared by Manny Reyes, signed and sealed on 12/4/2023. As a condition, this property needs a unit of title to be in place to serve as a parking lot for the properties located at 1179 West 69th Place and 1174 West 70th Place. Staff recommends approval with condition.
Okay, so
So now we can read the next one and then I read the recommendation for the next one.
Item number 6, conditional use permit to allow a K through 8th grade school with a maximum capacity of 97 students. Variance permit to allow interior west side setback of 9.5 feet where 10 feet are required and allow 20 parking spaces where 26 parking spaces are required. Properties are located at 1179 West 69th Place and 1174 West 70th Place. Hialeah zoned R33 Multiple Family District. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Esquire on behalf of Hope and Light School.
The properties in this application are located between West 69 and West 70th Place, just east of West 12th Avenue. These two lots were rezoned from liberal retail commercial C2 to multiple family district R33 in 1985, according to City Ordinance 8518. The properties are currently improved with single-family home structures approximately built in the 60s, according to Miami-Dade records. The original school has been operated only from property located at 1174 West 70th Place since 1989, according to city records. The business wanted to expand, therefore has been working with the city to address several issues, including parking. The business owner has acquired one of the adjacent properties and has an accompanying application to rezone the property at 1171 West 69th Place to parking to satisfy the parking and queuing requirements during the drop-off and pickup operations of the school. Even though acquiring the adjacent property alleviates the parking and vehicular circulation, a parking variance is still required. The properties are providing 20 parking spaces, but 26 parking spaces are required. In addition to a parking variance, a side setback variance is required since the construction of the single-family structures was built according to a lesser side setback than the current requirements. Staff is proposing to move forward with the following conditions. Provide a declaration of restrictions for the CUP, including 97 maximum number of school grade students in K through 8th grade. Obtain a building permit to convert property located at 1171 West 69th Place to a parking lot according to a plan submitted by dated 12/4/2023, signed and sealed by Manny Rose Architect. Obtain a change of use approval within 90 days of CUP approval. Provide a unit of title for the 3 lots considered to operate the school. Recommendation, approval with condition.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Cesar.
Okay. Yeah, like I said before, this is a project which includes 3 different properties right now. And part of what we are willing to do, and part of the conditions is that we will do a unity of title, which means that these 3 properties will travel together, become one of the same owner. So let me show you which properties they are. Next slide. This is the one on the north side. As you can see, to the left is a commercial shopping center. We also have the property directly behind it to the south. So those 2. And then the other property is the one on the south, just next to the one on the bottom. So those are the 3 properties that we are proposing. The owner has had a school there since 1989 on one of the properties, and he wanted to expand. In order to do that, he went and he purchased the property on the bottom that we're asking you to convert to parking so that we can provide the parking and the circulation for the school. These properties were already rezoned to multifamily. They were R33s. And I think they would serve as a good buffer between the residential and the commercial aspect. So we agree with the conditions. We will be submitting a declaration stating that the maximum students will be 97. It'll be K through 8. We agree to convert, if you recommend it, 1171 West 69th Place to parking. We agreed to do the change of use within 90 days of the approval of the CUP, and we will be preparing and signing a unity of title for all three lots. With regards to the variance, it's half a foot on the side. You have a staff recommendation of approval. I don't know if Manny has anything additional to add. If not, we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
The only thing that I would like to add is the fact that we're creating a unique thing with the stacking of parking. Convince the owner to purchase a property to the right of the southernmost to alleviate the issue with the parking for the school. That's all I have to say, and I think that's a plus for this kind of project.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board?
You have the site plans with you if you want to review the two buildings. They are eliminating some back out street parking that was on West 70th Place. Now they will have a parking lot there at the front and this parking lot on the side.
And I can show you what the properties look like now if you want to go through
Yeah.
those three right there. The next one, that's what's going to turn into the parking lot. This shows you the three properties from an aerial view. This one shows you with the yellow markings what we're talking about. As I said before, we're behind the shopping center. And these are the site plans that were prepared by Manny.
There, if you look into the west, to the left, there you will see how the parking lot is now within the property, and then you have on top, you have a new parking.
In addition, we're showing on the site plan fronting 69th Place, the proposed additions that we're contemplating and doing to the school to make it a lot more functional. So that's also included on this site plan.
Okay. Any comments or questions?
For the chair,
Yes, sir.
any barriers or something between the properties, like not causing any noise or between?
Speak into the microphone,
Oh,
please.
sorry.
We have the prefab 6-foot-high CBS walls along the required area, separating the P zoning from the R1 zoning, which would be on the east side of the recently purchased property and on the north side of the recently purchased property.
I think the recommendation says the west side. I think that was
Well,
a typo
well, you will, when you come and pull the permit, since you will need to legalize one of the homes too, that was a home, you will be required, everything that is abutting something that has a different land use, you will need to provide that concrete wall.
so anything that's different, we're gonna have to provide a concrete wall.
Whatever is
So it's gonna be,
adjacent to a single family home will need a 6-foot concrete wall.
Okay.
Then we need to provide on the northern part, on the east side of the property, we need to continue the 6-foot-high prefab wall. Okay, I'll make a note of that.
Okay, so what seems to be the blue house
The blue house will be the park,
will be the parking.
yes,
Okay, and then the other two L-shaped buildings will be the schools.
yes.
correct. Yes,
Okay,
north and south.
and then the barrier, if you will, the wall will be along right there, right where the cursor is, and then.
There, and then you go there, yes.
Okay. Okay. Does that answer your question, Eric?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any more questions?
I have a comment, Deborah, we've had discussions on the prototypical design for the 50-foot wide lots. This is a type of idea that we came up with that could be helpful for the areas in the future, maybe not in this specific area, but the fact that the school operates until a certain time, the owner might be able to blah, blah, remember we discussed?
Yeah, to share the parking
Yes,
with the neighbors,
yes,
yeah,
because
that would be a good idea.
Unfortunately, parking is the biggest issue that we're running into when we're studying the different ideas that Deborah is proposing.
Yeah, we were saying that sometimes it's difficult to build affordable housing because building the parking is costly.
Yeah.
So the developers were saying, well, it's nice if you can have like a prototype that you don't require any parking, but people will still have cars. So this is an example where a business that operates starting early in the morning and then ends early in the afternoon, that parking at night could be used to be shared with a residential property.
You heard the key word from the planner? Design a prototype. That's all on your shoulders right there. No problem. Okay. Any comments or questions from the audience? Anyone in Zoom? All right, closes the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we, hold that before. We have some conditions and you agree to the conditions mentioned? Okay. Okay, we have a motion.
Conditions.
We have a motion with condition
Second.
and a second.
Okay, so motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mr. Mason. Mr. Shanti Esteban,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason, Mrs. Enriquez,
No.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Is that item,
But which, I'm sorry, you didn't combine the items. I asked, you didn't combine the items. You need two votes.
We need to
Okay.
vote, yeah.
So what did you just vote on?
This,
Well,
they voted on the first item and now they will need to vote.
Okay, so you said it's read into the record what they just voted on, and then we'll have a second vote on the second item.
okay, so they just voted on item number 4. I mean, I did read both, but do you just want me to read it
Yeah.
all over again?
One at a time.
Okay. So item number 4, rezoning property from R2, 1 and 2 Family Residential District to P Parking. Property is located at 1171 West 69th Place, Hialeah zoned R2, 1 and 2 Family Residential District. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Esquire on behalf of Adolfo Nunez.
And there was a motion to approve with a second with a 5-1 vote to approve.
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
and now we'll read in item 6.
6. So item number 6, conditional use permit to allow a K through 8th grade school with a maximum capacity of 97 students. Variance permit to allow the interior west side setback of 9.5 feet or 10 feet are required, and allow 20 parking spaces where 26 parking spaces are required. Properties are located at 1179 West 69th Place and 1174 West 70th Place, Hialeah zoned R33 Multiple Family District. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Esquire on behalf of Hope and Light School.
Motion to approve with conditions.
Second.
Okay, so we had a
We still need to.
motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mr. Mason. Mr. Perez,
I'm sorry, yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Santi Esteban,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
And you guys will follow up on the unity of title and all of that other legal
Yes, sir.
stuff.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 5, variance permit to allow a height of 60 feet where 45 feet is the maximum height allowed. And to allow 60% lot coverage where 45% is the maximum lot coverage allowed. Property is located at 111 East Okeechobee Road, Hialeah zoned CR, Commercial Residential District. Applicant, Manny Reyes, architect.
Manitos Architect, offices at 18501 Pines Boulevard,
Thank you.
Pepper Pines, Florida.
This property is located along Okeechobee Road with approximately 100 feet of street frontage. The lot is 8,838 square feet in area according to Miami-Dade County records. However, the lot is oddly shaped in a trapezoid form. The lot is only accessible through Okeechobee Road since the rear and side property areas are not accessible to any other streets. The property has been improved since 1925 according to Miami-Dade County records and has contained multiple uses from an automobile car sale approved in 1966 according to Ordinance 1862 to restaurants, coffee shops, retail and services. The property has been vacant for a number of years. Since the property is located within the Central Business District, mixed use is a permitted and encouraged use for the property. The proposal within this application is for a 4 stories mixed-use development with 4 residential dwelling units located on the 3rd and 4th floor with an office space on the 2nd floor. The ground level is being improved with a lobby and staircase to the street. There is also driveway access to Okeechobee Road for a covered parking area for 8 parking spaces that would serve the mixed-use building. Even though the development is only 4 stories, the overall height of the building is 60 feet. The zoning allows for 4 stories with a maximum height of 45 feet. The project includes a modern architectural style incorporating different heights to identify different sections of the building. It also includes decorative vertical aluminum features and is proposing an art wall that faces Okeechobee Road. The art wall has been placed on a prominent elevation of the building, making a statement and celebrating the street elevation. The art has not been selected as of yet. The residential units have balconies and multiple windows per elevation, except the west elevation, which faces the blank walls of the project to the west side of the property. The project is requesting a height variance of 60 feet where 45 feet is permitted. However, it's proposing only 4 stories, which is permitted under the code. The ground floor is proposed for a 12 feet, 10 inches of clearance, which will be a requirement for emergency vehicles to access the building. In addition, the office and residential units have a height clearance of 11 feet and 8 inches, which provides for better and natural lighting and ventilation, producing an enjoyable indoor space. The total height of the decorative of the building is approximately 60 feet, which includes parapets, the staircase and elevation shafts, and the decorative elements. The higher building elements are towards Okeechobee Road and to the existing building on the west side. The project is surrounded by a 3-story condominiums toward the northeast, a 3-story mixed-use building toward the northwest, and a 2-story mixed-use building towards the southeast. The parking requirements within the zoning district are as follows: 1.5 parking spaces per residential unit. This means 6 parking spaces, and for office use in the CBD, 1/2 of every parking space for every 550 square feet of office space. This means 2 parking spaces. The total parking requirement is 8 parking spaces, with 1 being a handicap parking space. Landscaping requirements will be affected by the open space variance requested. Therefore, coordination to accommodate the maximum number of trees is encouraged, especially along Okeechobee Road. The open space variance seems to be the least impactful variation of the requirements due to the shape of the parcel. In this case, the open variance can be recommended for approval. There is also signage requirement since this is a mixed-use building and an office use is being proposed. The signage must be approved according to the code as part of the site plan. The project shall be developed according to plans submitted along this application prepared by Manny Reus Architect, signed and sealed on February 19, 2024. The applicant is also required to submit a declaration of restricted covenants. Recommendation, approval with conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Storch. Manny?
Yes, good evening again. Manny Rose Architect, offices at 18501 Pines Boulevard. Let me start quickly explaining to you all that this has been one of our most challenging projects that we've had in years and years and years. And thanks to Deborah and my lovely wife behind me, who deserves all the credit. They came up with a fantastic modern design for this project. Of course, like Deborah had said, it's a 4-story building, proper parking, modern design, lobby areas with elevators and second floor. The building is going to be occupied by the owner, who's an attorney. She'll occupy the whole second floor. And then we have apartments on the 3rd and 4th floor, all 2 bedrooms, about 1,100 square feet plus or minus per unit, which is very nice. The variance for the height, it has to do with the stairs, which because we are always very strict on having direct access for roof maintenance of any units that go up on the roof, and also as a feature for the design of the project. The parking, we meet it. Residential units, we feel comfortable with their size, and I'm hereby to request that the board review it and give us a granted approval, please.
Thank you, sir. Comments or questions from the board?
I have one question.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
The building next door, you have any plans to take that one over to that big square building that's?
The one on the right side?
Yeah.
No. I've asked the owner of the property here whether she's contemplating, and I don't know whether she will or not. She didn't give me a straight answer.
Yeah, this looks way better. We need this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is gonna be hopefully, this will be a startup in the changing of the north side of Okeechobee Road. A lot of those buildings need to address what we're trying to do here. This
Yeah.
would be a baby and the baby boom,
Yeah.
fantastic.
There
I know
are
Deborah
some
loves
other-
this.
Some other changes have been happening along
Yes.
Okeechobee Road, so this is one more, yeah, but
Yes.
it's a very nice example of a very urban project.
Try to talk to that lady, see if you can take that building over.
Yes.
It's
I
not
will.
easy. There's a story
It's not
between
easy.
those two buildings because this building has been vacant for years because every use that they wanted to come and do here, they don't have the parking.
Yeah.
So, and it's like a warehouse because there was a taking there for Okeechobee Road. So for years it has been vacant. It was sold from one person to the other one. And there is an old story that this building had some kind of access from the back and connected to the other building. And then the owners they had some discussions and they were in disagreement. So there's some story behind that I don't know completely.
Knock down that.
So it's good that this is developed and then we'll see what.
If you look at the last page that I threw in this morning, the color picture of what is there now
Yeah.
versus what we're getting.
No, it's night and day.
This one here?
Yes, sir.
I was gonna ask you, if you don't have an artist, let me recommend an artist.
Okay.
Somebody else.
Uh-oh, competition.
No, the artist for the
For the mural?
artwork. Yeah, we,
It's
Oh,
Dee Dee, the one that does all- she's Dee Dee, the one that does all the murals in by Little Havana.
Okay.
She's an upcoming artist.
okay. I'll
Excellent.
give you one of my cards so you can please have her contact
Yeah,
us.
I'll do that, and I'll give you her information too if you want.
Okay.
Okay,
Pleasure of the board?
yes, sir.
Oh, just saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
He learned,
Are you trying to like?
Whatever.
he learned your language.
All right, any more comments or questions? Anyone in the audience? Or in the electronic audience? All right, as Mr. Manny said, pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve.
Second?
There you go.
We have a motion from Mr. Ulloa, second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes,
Mr. Santiesteban.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you.
thank you. See if you can take that building supply, the pool supply one in the corner where that blue building there. With its house. Right across when you cross the bridge. Oh, it's a horrible place. Too. Let me give you.
Item number 7 is actually a tabled item from March 27th meeting. We will need to, a motion and a second to remove from table.
Okay, are we gonna, is the applicant here? Can we listen to it or?
My bet Hernandez? Yes,
Okay.
she's here.
All right, so we need a motion to remove from table?
Motion to remove from table?
Which item?
Second.
Number 7.
Buenas tardes.
I'm sorry, do we have a motion?
Yes, we have a motion in a second.
Second.
Okay, so motion by Mrs. Enriquez. Second by Mr. Santiesteban. Mr. Iglesias?
Nope.
It's not right here. Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Santiesteban?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Item has been removed from table. Item number 7, conditional use permit to allow a K through 5th grade elementary school with a maximum capacity of 38 students in conjunction with a 52 children daycare. Variance permit to allow 240 parking spaces where 276 parking spaces are required. Property is located at 4100 West 12th Avenue, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Resort Commercial District. Applicant, Mayvet Hernandez on behalf of Big Star Daycare, Inc.
Okay, thank you. Name and address, please.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Hilda Milán, soy la directora. Maybe no pudo estar en el hearing today.
Okay.
I will read it in English and in Spanish.
Yes.
The
She's the
property,
director? Yeah, she's. Do you have, usted tiene la autoridad de tomar decisión sobre esta
Sí.
aplicación?
¿Cómo se llama?
Hilda Milán.
I don't see anything here.
Yeah, we don't have any written authorization in the file. No hay una autorización escrita. Así que vamos a tener que dejar el item table hasta que venga la persona o le dé una
Ok.
autorización para que usted la represente.
Okay, gracias.
So we will need to.
We need to retable it, retable
Yeah.
to a specific date,
Yeah.
Motion to table.
Second.
to,
A motion to table until April 24th will be our next meeting.
Okay.
So we had a motion to table.
mire, vamos a posponerlo para el 24. 2 semanas. Asegúrese que la señora esté presente. Okay.
Okay, so we had a motion by Mr. Ulloa, second by Mr. Mason. Mr. Jimenez,
Sure, yes.
Mr. Santiesteban,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez.
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
item has been tabled until April 24th, 2024 meeting.
So 7 and 8 are tabled.
Item number 8 is also a tabled item from March 27th meeting. We will need a motion in a second.
Are they here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Motion to remove from table?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Ulloa. Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Santiesteban,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa.
Yes.
Item has been removed from table. Item number 8, conditional use permit to allow a K through 5th grade elementary school within a shopping plaza with a maximum capacity of 112 students in conjunction with an 81 children daycare. Variance permit to allow 409 parking spaces where 418 parking spaces are required. Property is located at 4056-4058 West 12th Avenue. Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicants, Cesar Mestre, Squire on behalf of Sunshine Daycare and Preschool Center.
Cesar Messer, opposite 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida. With me is Ms. Rodriguez, the owner of the school.
Thank you, sir.
This property located between West 12th Avenue and West 12th Lane and south of West 41st Street was developed as a two-story shopping center in 1980, according to Miami-Dade County records. The center has approximately 90,000 square feet of area with several businesses ranging from anchor retail stores such as Navarro CVS and Sedano Supermarket. Other uses such as services and restaurants are also present within the center. The current parking count of the center is 409 parking spaces. Based on current uses provided on plans, the center is required to provide 418 parking spaces. City staff and applicant have been working to improve the site plans to modify several areas of the shopping center to mitigate the vehicular traffic surrounding the school premises. According to a revised site plan and letter of intent, the daycare and school utilize 11,616 square feet of gross area, where the education component K through 5th grade is proposing to utilize 2,683 square feet, and the daycare component is proposing to utilize 4,242 square feet. Based on the areas and parking requirement, the school is to have a maximum capacity of 112 students, and the daycare is to have a maximum capacity of 81 children. The application proposes to modify the premises main entrance to coordinate an internal drop-off and pickup area with designated 4 parking spaces. This modification is an improvement to the previous site plan proposing to affect the public right-of-way. The improved vehicular circulation will require parents to park and walk to drop off and pick up the students and children. The school and daycare have at least 20 staff at the time, and the letter of intent states that all staff currently use the parking provided at the west side of the shopping center. This arrangement has to be maintained because the areas designed to remain pervious shall be maintained open to the drainage of the street. In addition, the shopping center is required to provide a minimum of 418 parking spaces to satisfy all the current uses. However, the parking provided is 409 parking spaces. This parking variance can be approved based on the proposed improvements reflected on submitted site plan. Staff provides the following conditions: obtain building and streets permit to reestablish the swale area with landscaping along West 12th Avenue according to plans submitted with this application, signed and sealed by Jose Martinez on March 27, 2024. Provided the creation of restrictions for the CUP, including 112 maximum number of school grade students and K through fifth grade elementary school in conjunction with a maximum of 81 children's daycare, including the designated parking spaces and modification to the entrance of the school to mitigate the traffic impact during drop-off and pickup of children and students. Obtain the change of use approval within 90 days of CUP approval. Recommendation, approval with conditions for the CUP and parking variance. Again, I want to stress this again and also to say it in Spanish. Esto es la primera parte, después hay que ir y sacar los permisos. Esto solo sin los permisos no sirve.
Thank you. Mr. Metric.
Oh, okay. Deborah, I do have a question. On the conditions of the reestablishing the swell area, it says West 12th Avenue. Are we talking about West 12 Lane,
Yes.
the west side?
Yeah, yeah.
So we need to correct that. That's what I thought.
Let me see.
Yeah, the one on the west side of the shopping center.
No, it's the one on the north, western coast, yes, western coast.
Well, yeah, the one in the west side,
The one
where the
on
entrance used to be.
Exactly, the west.
Okay,
side,
yeah.
yeah.
Last time we were here, we asked to table this, and this is the one I told you, the new plans are sitting in my office and they'll be delivered tomorrow morning. We got the plans delivered. This is one that's been around for quite some time. It's a big space. This is where Chico's is. And I believe at one point that was a big theater that was in that space. It's the corner, I'll show it to you now, and it opens up into a big area. They've been there since 2003. Like many people, like everybody, they didn't know that you had to come and get a conditional use permit in order to get the education. So now they're here trying to legalize everything.
Yeah, this is the old one.
What Deborah was talking about was reestablishing, and I'll show you on the slides.
Good plan. One.
If we can go to the next slide, please. There, it is a shopping center on the west side. There's some single family homes, but it's across the street. As you can see, it's totally encased with the parking lot and the businesses. The next slide is just showing you that everything there is commercial, except for across the street when you have a single family. The
Sorry,
next
one interruption about
Sure.
the issue of the 12 court, 12 lane. The plans that prepared the engineer, they have the wrong labeling. There it says 12 court, but it is 12 lane.
lane, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked on the property.
That's where the
appraiser and I
confusion
said
comes
lane.
from. Yeah,
So on my notes, it says lane, so we will agree to
yeah,
lane, which is the west side.
Yeah.
This shows you an aerial view. And as I said, it's located right on the corner on the top right-hand side of the shopping center. Next is some of the classrooms that we have to show you what it's like inside. They've been around for a long time. They have a lot of great students that move on to other high schools and do very well. And the next slide. That's just showing you the Chico's and the corner. Like I said, it's a very small entrance, but it opens up like a pizza pie. And then the next slide, this is the west side of the shopping center. This is where they have the playground, and where you see that these cars are parked. This is what we're talking about with Deborah of returning it back to the swale area that it was supposed to be. Right now, the school was using this area as the entrance, but we have agreed after many months of going back and forth to change it to the entrance on the shopping center. So now with the assigned parking spaces, the parents will come, drop off the kids, walk them in, walk them out, and everything will be within the parking lot of the shopping center. Won't bother the neighbors at all, won't bother any of the public roadways. That's the way it's gonna be.
Because the way this has been done, of course, without permit, is that that area that was supposed to be green and a buffer to the residential properties across the shopping center was converted into this asphalted area that the parents used to pick up and drop off. So now we are eliminating that. They are reestablishing that green area for the privacy of the neighbors, and everything will happen from the part of the front of the shopping center.
Also, our staff, part of the conditions is our staff will be required to park on the west side of the shopping center. So it's the part behind the shopping center. So they can park there, and there's an entrance from the back to the front. They don't have to go to the front parking lot at all. So we have agreed to that. We have agreed to 112, which is based on the square footage that we have, maximum K through 12 students. The DOR will also say maximum of 81 daycare. We'll modify the entrance to the school. We'll have the designated parking spaces. We will reestablish the swell area on West 12th Lane to the way it was originally, and we will do the change of use within 90 days. So based on the recommendation of staff for approval, the longstanding time that this business has been in operation, our concessions to try to make it better for the neighborhood and for the city, we respectfully request a vote of approval.
Thank you, Mr. Mestre. I do have a question for you,
Yes,
more of a trivia question.
yes, sir.
Since I know you're for, you mentioned the theater.
Yes.
Do you remember what name of the theater?
Was it Apollo?
Apollo. Okay,
Apollo
Now.
Theater, yes, sir.
2 for 2, going for broke. Do you remember the one little parcel up in the northeast end? Remember what was there before?
The northeast end,
The one building way up in the northeast end, right off of 12th,
where the bank is,
where the bank is.
a restaurant?
El Pollo Supremo.
Yeah, Pollo, a chicken place, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. All right, anyway.
I have one for you.
Oh, God, here we go.
The owner of Apollo had some issues, and we had to babysit him. When I was a police officer, we had to go to his apartment and babysit him 24 hours a day because we were afraid he was going to do something for many months, for many, many months.
Ooh. I wasn't privy to that. Anyway, small world.
Yes,
Comments or questions?
you took me back.
Yeah,
Through the chair?
yes, I mean, yes, ma'am.
Where exactly is the entrance through the shopping center? I was trying to see in the map.
Right on when you see the front where it says Sunshine,
Oh,
it's
there's
going
a-
to be right there. right
Is it
where
next
the-
to, it's next to Chico?
Before the pie opens up. Right now, the offices are there,
Okay,
but they're gonna make the entrance through that side.
there
sorry?
is a banquet hall there.
That was the back.
Olga, it's still there.
At one time, yeah.
In the same spot?
It's
The
still
banquet
there.
hall there, so you're next.
But it's upstairs, right?
Right, it's a different, same shopping center, different spot, yeah.
But the banquet hall is right there in the middle section. There was like some. I haven't been in a while.
And Chico's obviously was the political place to be back. then.
Yes.
That was,
Yes, I
everybody
didn't
had
want
their table in the back.
I didn't want to go there, but yes, you're right. I went there many times. Any more comments or questions? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Anyone in the electronic audience? Nope. All right. Closes the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve with conditions?
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Santiesteban. Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Santiesteban.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now you're not gonna bring back Pollo Supremo, are you? Wow.
I like that place. That place
It
is
was
really good.
yeah. Thank you. No, thank you for your service.
Item number 9. Conditional use permit to allow a kindergarten class with a maximum capacity of 13 students in conjunction with a 47 children daycare. Variance permit to allow 7 parking spaces, backing out into the street where 9 parking spaces are required and backup parking is not allowed. Property is located at 118 West 7th Street, Hialeah Zones R3D, Multiple Family District. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Squire on behalf of Second Home Daycare and School.
This property is located at the southern portion of the block between West First Avenue and West Second Avenue, and is improved with a single-story structure of approximately 2,700 square feet of area. This property came in 2001 seeking variances to allow an addition to an existing child daycare and was approved on December 11, 2001 pursuant to Ordinance 2001-102. And I was not here at the time, just to let you know. This applicant is requesting the approval of a conditional use permit to expand the existing 47 child daycare with a kindergarten class with a maximum of 13 students. The children's daycare has been operating since 1990 with a capacity of 26 daycare children according to the 2001 site plans. The children's daycare was approved to have a capacity of 78 children. However, it has been operating with 47 children daycare. The addition of kindergarten seems not detrimental to the operation of the existing daycare. However, certain improvements were shown in the 2001 site plans that have not materialized. Therefore, the property will have to be brought up to the reference site plans. The site plans submitted along with this application prepared by MEC Design, Josea Martinez, signed and dated 4/9/2023, are proposing to include 8 parking spaces of only 8 feet and 3 inches. However, the minimum parking size required on the code is 8 feet and 6 inches. Therefore, the parking area shall reflect the plan submitted in 2001 with only 7 parking spaces. Staff is recommending to withdraw the variances to permit the request of 7 parking spaces backing out into the street where 9 parking spaces are required and back out parking is not allowed since these variances were granted pursuant to City Ordinance 2001-102. Staff is recommending the following conditions for the approval of the CUP. Provide a declaration of restrictions for the CUP, including 13 maximum number of school grade students in kindergarten in conjunction with a maximum of 47 children daycare, including the school and daycare staff, including that the school and daycare staff are required to park outside the school premises. This is 2 blocks from City Hall.
Yeah.
There's available on-street parking. There's a parking garage behind this building. So the idea is that all that parking remains open for the parents to pick up, drop off visitors, and the teachers that will park for long periods will need to park on street or on the city's parking garage. Obtain a change of use approval within 90 days of CUP approval. Implement improvements to the property reflected on site plans submitted along 2001 application and site plan. Recommendation approval with this condition.
Thank you.
Cesar Mestre, law offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida. With me is Miguel Ruiz, the owner of the school. We have a small presentation here. This is 118 West 7th Street. We're requesting a conditional use permit. And I guess I will announce that we are withdrawing the application for the variance pursuant to staff's recommendation. We agree with that. Next slide. This is the second house on 7th Street. To the right side of it is a multifamily house. The other ones are multifamily also on the block, just so you know. If you go to slide, the next one. This is what it looks like from the outside. As you can see, we've tried, this is another one that's been around for a while. We tried to see what we could do with the parking, but it's very limited. So I guess the engineer tried to come up with more parking spaces than what was there. But unfortunately, the space just doesn't allow it. We're short a few inches on each space, so we have to go back to the 7. We agree with the condition of having staff and the teachers park outside of the premises. Next slide shows you an aerial view. As you can see, he's got a real nice playground in the backyard. What I think we need to keep in mind here is that this daycare has been operating since 1990. And then in 2001, it got permission from the city and was approved for a total of 78 children. What we're asking you for today is a total of 60. So we're actually going down from what was approved before. We agree with only kindergarten. This is only going to be kindergarten and only 13 students. And the daycare will continue at 47. I already said staff will park outside of the school premises. We will agree to do the change of use within 90 days. And the improvements that were reflected in the 2001 plans will be abided by. So we agree with the conditions. We respectfully ask you for a recommendation of approval as staff has recommended, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Any comments or questions?
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
is anything gonna be done about the color of the schools? It's really bright. I don't know.
She's asking the color, if you. Yeah.
Deborah, do you like that color?
Well, that is the downtown center and we have a color palette and I don't think that color is in the color palette. So you're welcome to come and choose a color. We can help you out in choosing a nice color.
Yeah, I think he went with that daycare yellow, that makes it stick out, but I think we'll agree to go with the color palette.
Okay, can we get you up here, sir?
We go.
Get you on the record, please. Cesar, I have one question while the gentleman comes up.
My name is Richard Brock.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. That's okay. Name and address, please.
My name is Miguel Ruiz,
Okay,
118 West 7th Street.
okay.
I'm the owner of the daycare. That school, that building, when I bought it, it was daycare and a school before I bought it. So that is all here in Hialeah. It's an old school in Hialeah.
Well, her concern is the colors.
What about the
Yeah,
color?
no, it's just the color.
What about the color?
Would you?
I didn't pick up the color. I don't know.
Well, we'll help you out find a better color.
Do I have to change the color?
Well, you will have to restripe the parking spaces, make some improvements that were proffered in the 2001 plans. You need to you need to do the change of use. So you're doing so many things that you can also
Okay.
change the color.
And now we change the way that we parking there. We park back up and we go back to the street forward.
Okay, but since you have so few parking spaces and there is parking available on-street parking and the city's parking garage, what we recommend is that you leave all those
Okay.
spaces open for the parents when they come and bring the children and all the staff have them park on the street or on the parking garage.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. One question,
We will agree to change the, color.
one question.
Right.
Second home,
yes,
that's the name of the,
yes.
is that? Was that entity located somewhere else before? Like on 33rd Street East, Second Avenue, between First and Second, right behind where the post office is now?
Maybe it's a common name, mi segunda casa, second home. Yeah.
You were
No,
gonna,
it rings a bell.
you're gonna keep asking questions till I couldn't answer, okay.
Okay. There's something behind it. Anyway, comments or questions?
Motion to approve.
Anyone in the audience, comment or question? We have a motion by Mr. Jimenez.
Second.
So a motion to approve was as recommended, right?
Correct.
So we have a motion by Mr. Jimenez, second by Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Change of color.
Mr. Santiesteban.
Yes.
Item has been approved
No.
as recommended.
No mustard yellow?
Looks like Sherwin-Williams is gonna have a get a visit pretty soon.
Item number 10. Conditional use permit to allow a K through fifth grade school with a maximum capacity of 55 students in conjunction with a 28 children daycare. Variance to allow 90 parking spaces in a shopping plaza that requires no less than 167 parking spaces. and variance to allow an allocation of 8 parking spaces where the promotional allocation of parking shall be 10 parking spaces, and the daycare/school requirement for the subject 5 bays is 17 parking spaces. Property is located at 1006 East 8th Avenue, units 1004, 1006, 1008, 720, and 736. Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant Cesar Mestre, Squire on behalf of My First Steps Learning School.
And this is the last school, I promise.
Cesar Mestre Law Offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida. And with me is Neida Ojeda, the owner of the school.
Thank you.
The property in this application is within a shopping center located between East 11th Place and East 9th Street and facing East 8th Avenue. The shopping center was established in 1947 with approximately 31,000 square feet. The business applying for the conditional use permit, My First Steps Learning School, was established in 2001 as a daycare according to city records. Since then, school grades seem to have been added without the proper regulations. The application is seeking to obtain a conditional use permit to allow a K through 5th grade school with a maximum of 55 students in conjunction with a 28 children daycare. The applicant has been seeking a CUP since 2023. However, the shopping center has a shortage of parking, and unfortunately, a series of illegal parking spaces were added over the years. Since the application came in, staff has been working with the property owner to address the parking situation. The property owner has been proactive in eliminating the illegal parking spaces backing out into East 8th Avenue and has submitted a site plan indicating the creation of 15 new parking spaces. Staff recommends withdrawing the parking variance from this application and continuing to work with the property owner to address the parking needs of the entire shopping center. In addition to the parking conditions, since there is no designated drop-off and pickup area within the shopping center, parents will have to park and walk their children to the school and daycare. The CUP may be granted and the following conditions shall be met prior to operating the school. CUP may be granted with the condition that the property owner creates 15 new parking spaces and that the school has designated 8 parking spaces, and provided the creation of restrictions for the CUP, including 55 maximum number of students in K through 5th grade, in conjunction with a maximum of 28 daycare children, and obtain a change of use approval within 90 days of CUP approval. Staff recommends withdrawing the parking variance and approval of the CUP with condition.
Thank you. Mr. Mestre?
This is the shopping center that we spoke about last time with the PPEC that you guys recommended approval for. This is the shopping center where basically these two businesses wouldn't have been able to operate. But Deborah and I think some staff actually took the time and went out there and came up with solutions with the owner of the shopping center, getting rid of some backup parking spaces onto Lejeune Road that they had put in, putting landscaping in. And so now we fortunately are here with the recommendation of approval, and hopefully we'll be able to save this business, which has been there since 2001. This one is the shopping center, as I told you, and for the record, we do withdraw the parking variance application. This is the shopping center here. It's on Lejeune and East 10th Street. It's surrounded all by commercial properties, as you can see in the next slide. The next one is a picture of the front door of 1006. And the one on the left is, you can see them. These all have signs on them, these parking spaces there that say that this is for the exclusive use of this school. After that, we have some pictures of the classrooms so you can see it. Next slide. More parking spaces that they have located in a different area. And then the next slide, number 7, shows you that they have a grouping of parking spaces, kind of like where the island in the middle is. And then they have two additional spaces right in the bottom left-hand corner, which is where their school is located. So right now, they do have 8 parking spaces that are assigned to them. The next slide, and I guess I might open up a can of worms here. Deborah, my understanding is that this is the circulation that is going to take place coming in through the parking lot and exiting on the south side of the property.
You mean for what?
For the parents after they drop off the kids to go out that way. I mean, that's what I thought.
Since we
Yeah.
did not receive anything, we are assuming that.
They're
the
just gonna
parking
park
lot
and
is-
walk.
We are assuming that
Okay.
they will park and walk.
Okay.
And then when they do that is ready, they will have to work with the shopping center
Okay.
owner to see how that works.
Okay, that's fine.
For now, we're happy that we eliminated all those parking spaces that you see that were encroaching into Lechun Road, and they were backing out into a bus shelter
Right.
that is there, and it was like a very dangerous
Right.
situation.
And in any event where the exit would be or was talked about, that's where some of the additional parking is going to come in for the shopping center. So
Yeah, as you see there, the parking is super tight there. It's always, everything is taken. Some people use cones to reserve their spaces because it's impossible, but any person now will be on their own. Everything is contained inside the shopping center.
gotcha. And I know that the owner of the shopping center is coming in for the required parking variance on his own. I helped them fill out the application, so I know that they're in the process of doing that. Next slide. The owner is very proud of her school, and these are some of the students that have graduated from 5th grade and have moved on to schools like Cohia, Hialeah Gardens, National Honor Society, Superior Honor Rolls. It just went on and on. I asked her for a couple and she kept sending me more and more just to show you the quality of the education. It just so happens also that one of the teachers is the daughter of the owner. She went to FIU, got her bachelor's degree in education, and now she's one of the teachers at the school. We agree with the conditions. Based on the presentation and the recommendation of staff, we respectfully ask you for a recommendation of approval, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? All right. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve with
Second.
conditions? Okay, so motion by Mrs. Enriquez, second by Mr. Jimenez. Mr. Mason?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Santiesteban?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you, and no more schools tonight.
No more school.
Item number 11, special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay in relation to a proposed mixed-use development, including 815 residential units and approximately 32,624 square feet of commercial space. Variance permit to allow waiving mass requirements. Allow 10 feet front and street side setbacks, where 22 feet and 34 feet are required for the middle and penthouse levels, and allowed 1,559 parking spaces, where 2,006 parking spaces are required. Property is located at 1625 West 49th Street, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant Federico M. Moreno.
Name and address, please.
Good evening, Joe Jimenez, offices at 2020 Salcedo Street in Coral.
Thank you. We do have a
We have a letter
letter here that needs
of
to be
objection from a neighbor in the shopping center. We'll read it afterwards.
okay.
The parcel in this application spans nearly 15 acres and is located on the eastern side of the Westland Mall, situated at the intersection of West 49th Street and West 16th Avenue, with frontage along both thoroughfares. Back on January 24, 1967, the city passed ordinance number 1930, granting a variance permit for the construction of a shopping center. Then on February 11, 1969, Ordinance 2211 authorized a variance permit for automobile service station facilitating the operation of the Sears store and Sears Auto Center. Presently, the site remains vacant following the demolition of these structures. The proposed project entails an array of buildings and amenities, including mixed-use structures, both horizontally and vertically. This includes 2 8-story residential buildings alongside 2 8-story parking garages, a 6-story residential building with commercial spaces at the ground floor, a standalone 2-story amenity center, and a row of 3-story townhouses to the north. In total, the proposal includes 815 residential units ranging from 1 to 3-bedroom apartments, along with 15 townhomes. The layout is designed to create a communal space centered around the plaza, an open area with pedestrian access to the existing mall, with the 6-story building linked to the northern parking garage via a pedestrian and sky bridge. Access to the site is facilitated through existing vehicular connections, including signalized intersections at West 5000 and West 5100 blocks, along with an existing driveway access on West 49th Street, which will be aligned with one of the proposed inferior roundabouts. The proposed parking requirement for the mixed-use development totals 2,006 parking spaces. This requirement includes parking for residential, guest, and commercial uses. The applicant, however, is proposing 2 parking garages with a total of 1,559 parking spaces, which is a 22% reduction from the required parking spaces. To address this variance, the applicant has presented reciprocal easement agreement with the larger Westland Mall property, granting additional parking rights. Additionally, the property benefits from multiple public transportation options and on-demand vehicular services, offering mobility alternatives to residents and visitors. Furthermore, the city's traffic engineer has provided feedback on the proposed project traffic study, and the applicant is working on addressing these comments for incorporation into the site plan. The applicant is requesting to expand the neighborhood business district overlay through a special use permit in accordance with Code Section 98-1630. As the property exceeds 20,000 square feet and has over 200 feet of street frontage, it qualifies for the expansion. The property abuts West 49th Street and West 16th Avenue, recognized as activity nodes, and reinforces the suitability of the proposal. In addition, the project is proposing the following improvements to reach the incentive point. Height incentives. Bus shelters will be upgraded. Art will be incorporated according to plans submitted. 25 square feet of pedestrian-oriented retail uses. Lobbies and entrances incorporating high-quality materials as granite, marble, or natural stones. Parking facilities located toward the rears or with improved designs. Parking facilities wrapped to enhance exterior aesthetics. Project incorporates colonnades, plazas, and other community recreational areas. Provide outdoor furniture, including benches, lighting fixtures, and trash containers. This gives them a total of 6 height points. The density incentives, 50% of the height point value assigned of the height incentive, and 6 points for the redevelopment of more than one city block. They are going to provide master signage standards and will include amenities such as swimming pool, fitness center, and recreation rooms. The total density points are 16 points. The project proposes sufficient incentive points to meet the desired height and density requirements. The proposed 815 residential units will have an area of 850 square feet or more, and only 10% of the residential units will have less than 600 square feet. Any deviation from this breakdown would require the applicant to seek a variance permit. To ensure compliance with the submitted plans, the requested special use permit and variances could be approved with the conditions that the development aligns with the plans prepared by MSA Architects, dated and signed by Jose Saumel on February 21, 2024. Furthermore, as required by Section 98-1630.9, and to avoid real estate speculation and delay, the applicant will need to proffer a demolition and construction schedule and consistency with the plans in a declaration of restricted covenants. Recommendation, approval with conditions. And as you know, this is the Westland Mall. There are many neighbors like big neighbors many times have problems. So we receive a letter from JCPenney. We're going to read it into the records. But our opinion is that that is a problem between the parties, private parties, so they should solve that on their own. That this doesn't affect our decision or recommendation. So if you want to read it.
The letter reads, ladies and gentlemen, we are in receipt of the attached legal notice from the city of Hialeah specific to a request for a special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay in relation to a proposed mixed-use development for property located at 1625 West 49th Street, Hialeah, as more particularly described therein. We have not been provided with sufficient information from the property owner in order to assess how the proposed SUP request may affect property occupied by Penny Property Sub Holdings LLC, located in the proximity of the property. Accordingly, we do not approve such SUP request or variance permit for the property on behalf of the property owner or any third party, and request the City of Hialeah Planning and Zoning Board withhold from approving such request or variance permit until such time Penny has provided the necessary information by or from the property owner or requesting third party to assess any negative impact such SUP or variance permit may have to the property occupied by Penny. Penny hereby reserves all rights and remedies available at law and in equity. Please contact Penny Representative Steve Rami via email srami6@jcp.com to discuss resolutions of this matter. Your prompt attention is appreciated. Sincerely, Penny Property Sub Holdings LLC, Yvette Ramos Wade, Senior Counsel, Real Estate Legal Department.
Recommendation by the next meeting, try to contact them, send them the plan, so maybe they're happy.
It'll be part of my presentation now. I was actually surprised by this letter, but I will address it.
Thank you. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. And first of all, I'd really like to start by saying thank you very much to Deborah and Claudia for working so closely with us throughout this year. I know that we actually waited for Claudia to start so that she could be involved in this from the very beginning, but I really would like to introduce the team that's with me here. From Codina Partners, the developer of this project is Alex Arellano. From MSA Architects, Annette McSwain. And from Plummer and Associates, Kansas Goodrum and Nicole Sandoval, our traffic engineers. We're all available to answer questions if I don't do a good enough job of answering them, but so a motion to approve is obviously in order at any time, and I'll take it whatever you want. To start with JCPenney, because it was actually very surprising to get this letter. JCPenney, Sears, and Burdines, along with the mall, were the original parties to the REA that created all the rights and easements and the reciprocal easement agreement that makes up the mall. All malls are built this way. The mall builds a mall. They sell off little parcels to the big box anchor stores. They sign across parking and everything else. And it's obviously had a very long run. You heard from Deborah, 1967, 1969. JCPenney no longer owns their site. Their site is owned by a private property owner and they are a tenant. We have worked with that property owner at length because the REA required us to do so, and Macy's, the owner of the JCPenney parcel, obviously the mall owner, and we have come to that agreement. We have provided JCPenney with an extensive amount of information, and they've asked for more, and we will continue to provide that. We believe that bringing 815 units into a mall that is not at its peak will bring a new client base to the front door and actually enhance the mall. So that leads me into the presentation, which when you talk about Westland Mall with anybody that grew up in Hialeah, the history questions abound. I know, Mr. Chairman, you seem like a fan. And everybody seems to have either worked there after school or gone there after school or hung out. And a lot of it, when you really think about it, was the mall itself. The stores were the stores, and that's great, but they're department stores. What made Westland Mall were the stores. So that gives us the opportunity, and my client and the developers of this property have a history of this kind of development because they're responsible for downtown Doral. The thing about downtown Doral is vacant land. it was 31 office buildings. They tore down 27 of them and they rebuilt the mixed use from the ground up. Here, we don't have to do. Here, by bringing this residential piece to this one parcel, just over on the west side, we can already get the mall and make it a mixed use development that can be almost like a city center, the beginnings of placemaking. And keep the history of the mall without the necessarily the baggage of big box stores today, because those aren't the ones doing great. The ones that do well are the smaller stores that can provide a service that you can't get on the internet, that give you that feeling of walking around the mall, the dominoes that are played in the mall walkers that you see them, well, we visited in the morning just to get the air conditioning, that all remains. So if we can start telling you where Westland Mall is absolutely a waste of time because you're incredibly familiar with it. The site plan here, as you can see, Westland is the center of this development. If there is a future development on the other sites, like I said, JCPenney's land and parking is owned by another property owner. Macy's now, obviously, the successor to Burdines when we lost Burdines, owns to the east. As this potentially gets redeveloped, Westland will continue to be the center of this mixed-use community. As Deborah said, we're proposing 815 residential dwelling units and approximately 27,000 square feet of additional retail. We're not just coming in here with apartments. We're coming in here to elevate what's there and give the people in Hialeah the ability to stay in Hialeah. One of the things that we realized with some software that we have in downtown Doral that can tell us where people are coming from based on their phones. Most of the people that came to our restaurants at the beginning were from Hialeah. So we have people leaving. We have a sort of an entertainment brain drain because while there's a good restaurant here and a good restaurant there, there wasn't a place where you can go and maybe have dinner, then get a drink, then do something else and stay and build that sort of destination retail that the city was lacking. And that's one of our goals here. It's to not only just do more retail and bring people from everywhere else, but keep those people that are living there, staying there. And having people from Hialeah stay in Hialeah. Next slide, please. As Deborah mentioned, there's 3 total residential buildings here, 2 8-story buildings connected to 2 8-story garages, which are the ones there that you see with the pool in the middle. And in the dead center, where there's an amenity building, which our plan is to make that a very large entertainment restaurant with rooftop amenities that overlook that acre plaza that we would transform into an event space. We would do that sort of to give back to the community and really have it be somewhere where we can program. It's insulated by our residents. It connects to the mall. It's roughly where the food court is now, if you're familiar with the mall. And have that large pink building that you see in the middle, not the mall, overlooking that space and really be able to program that. So as it kept coming up, the domino players and everything else, that we would have a revolt if we didn't accommodate them. That's a plaza where we can absolutely accommodate things like that. Next slide, please. A closer view of the space. That's the 6-story building surrounding that plaza. And like I said, that plaza, it's about an acre. It is not just some little, and it would be landscape programmed. It would be an event. It would be a place that people could go. They can buy some coffee inside. They can sit there. It's for the community. It is not a private space. It will be closed at certain hours out of respect for the residents. But during the day, it's a mall. Just like you can sit in the food court if you wanted to and grab a sandwich and sit there, that would be the same. I'm not going to call it a park because I know how seriously Hialeah takes its parks, but it is absolutely a place where people could go and hang out. Next, please. There's one of the 8-story buildings, and as you can see, we just wanted you to be able to see the floor plans. We're paying particular attention to landscaping, especially along 16th Avenue and along 49th Street. The 49th Street side will have stoop apartments, so it'll activate 49th Street a pedestrian way that it is not now. If you know that corner, it's just an endless parking lot. Walking on 49th Street is not a pleasant experience from 16th Avenue on until you get to Palmetto. These units would come directly onto 49th Street. They'd be separated. They're not going to be right on there. If you're familiar with, I don't like to disparage other projects, but there's There's some in the city of Miami that are awfully close. The landscaping is an integral part of this, but so is the walkability of 49th Street to make this a community, to make this a residential community. Next slide, please. And the final 8-story building, which is further to the north along 16th, also with the large buffer provided by that curve. And also attached to a garage. That garage, as you can see in the upper left-hand corner of that slide, has a bridge that goes directly into the 6-story apartment. Now, the thing about these garages matching the 8-story buildings is that every floor of the garage leads directly into the building. So you don't have to park on the 8th floor and go back down to get in an elevator. You go directly into your hallway. So even if you live on 8, the inconvenience of driving up to 8 is matched by the convenience of walking right in with your groceries. Next slide, please. Some roundabouts, we just wanted to show you some zoomed in. This is where our property line ends, and if you go north of that circle, that's JCPenney's site. That's all parking right now. If that's a site of future development, it could easily be incorporated into this development to keep it as one site. If not, the entrance is still there. We're using existing ingress and egress, but we wanted to create the traffic circles because, as you'll see in the next slide, we wanted in the community, we wanted it to be pedestrian friendly as well. Next slide, please. I don't have to tell you what, this is the corner. This is the corner now, just taken from Google Earth, corner of 49th and 16th. What we are proposing, next slide, is to really make this corner iconic. And this is one of the reasons I really have to thank Deborah and Claudia, because this design was made possible by them. They're the ones that were stressing how much they wanted this corner. And even though that's a garage, we spared no design energy into doing anything but a beautiful corner there that will incorporate signage. And this is one of the issues that Penny has, that if you looked at the other picture, you can sort of see them off in the distance, and this technically blocks them. Well, okay, and we can work on that with a monument sign, or Deborah, you've always talked about signage on the side of that garage. So those are things we'll work with our neighbors on. But we wanted a place. We wanted to make a place. We wanted to do something that corner really spoke like, you know exactly where you are when you see it. Next slide, please. This is one of the interior views. This is looking south from that circle. Obviously, the art is a placeholder. We haven't chosen artists, but we would place art in all of our traffic circles. Again, if you're familiar with downtown Doral, art in public places doesn't apply to us there because of the development agreement being so old. We have far exceeded any requirement that either the county or the city would have ever put on us. Art being required is not something we consider. It's art for the sake of the community. And Armando and his partners Mr. Colina and his partners are incredible patrons of the arts, and they love to incorporate it into these projects. Next slide. Another circle with another sculpture, and this one looks towards the east, coming away from the mall. That's the retail space that I discussed earlier. It's there on the left, highlighted with the two 8-story buildings, creating that walkable, friendly, and inviting place but suggesting that urban feel that quite frankly is lacking there right now in just a really big park. Next slide. If you're interested or have any questions on the materials that we'll use, the inspiration that led to the architects, obviously they're here to answer any of those questions that you might have. Next slide. Again, it's just, we really want to show you all the thought that went into this, all the bridge there, the third bubble, the third circle on the top. That'd be an air-conditioned bridge that could really get people over. So it's not that you're parked in the, you live in one of the buildings that we didn't put a garage on. We do want to bring people over in comfort. Next slide. More of the same. And these are just for the board's edification. Like I said, if you have any questions on it, the architect Oh, I think we're going backwards. So I think that was it. With respect to the variance, it sounds like a lot, but we feel that the parking requirement in Hialeah for this kind of product was excessive. In our experience, what we do is we don't reserve parking spaces. And we find ourselves overparked at this ratio in our residential multifamily. The reason that makes a difference is because if you have a parking space dedicated to you and you leave for work for 10 hours, that parking space is empty. It's useless. So you need a parking space for everybody. That's not the way that life works. People work from home, people work at night, people work during the day. And there's a rental property that we're going to own. We don't need it to be underparked. This formula works for us because our parking is so efficient. We do not ever reserve parking spaces. So they are constantly used. Also, if you make people come all the way down from the garage, nobody wants to park in the top. But as someone who's lived in one of our buildings and I went straight in, I would always go to my floor because I could carry my groceries in, I could walk in with my kids, and I didn't have that problem of getting in an elevator. The lack of proximity was worse than going up a few more floors. So basically, and as Deborah said, also, there is an REA. We're still property owners to that REA. So the parking in the mall is also available to us, just like street parking around us would be available to the other property owners. If there are any questions on traffic, obviously this store has been empty for over 2 years. If you were to replace it right now if another department store were to go in there, you'd be looking at some fewer trips, I guess, during the day, but a lot more at night. So we actually come out almost even from the traffic report, where our peak hour trips are not monumentally different. And any zoning from a commercial use to a residential use almost always ends up being textbook a down zone in intensity. I don't care what the intensity is. A mall is going to bring a lot more people. And like I said, this day and age, people stay home a lot more. They're working from home a lot more. So the traffic is really just the traffic study shows the traffic is negligibly different. And that's only in the morning. And that's really because the mall opens at 10 o'clock. So if the mall opened at 9 or 8, it would actually be worse. So with that, obviously, any questions you have, we think that this is a unique property. We think it's a unique development and a unique opportunity in this part of the city to really take a step forward into creating something that we think Hialeah really needs. So with that, we are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are you real familiar with the mall?
Not as an adult. I grew up working at the warehouse where my mom worked in the office. I would work there over the summers. And whenever she had to go shopping, she'd be like, Mama Westland. And we lived in Little Havana. So it was going out of our way because it was over in Medley. So I've become more familiar with the mall on this project. Like I said, I grew up in Little Havana on the other side of town. It wasn't my mall, but over the summers, I would go there a lot with my mom.
Yeah, so obviously, I'm into a little bit of a trivia.
Well, I wish I would have known that before I got up here, but I would have prepared more.
They used to have during Halloween, the kids used to, we used to dress out the kids and stuff and go in the mall, go from store to store, trick or treating inside the mall. I thought the kids loved that. One question though, what's going to happen to the Goodwill truck that's in the corner?
I think that's a question for Goodwill and for maintenance. And I'm sorry, I did forget. Miguel Abad is also here. He was sitting over there. Miguel Abad also represents us as well. And in all the meetings that he and I have had together, he can tell you the way that people talk about this mall, it deserves nothing but respect in the memories that it has for people. And I saw you smile when I was saying it. It just seems that every kid in Hialeah either goes to a park or went to the mall. So I love that we're able to keep it. I love that we're able to really enhance it.
She always says, bring downtown Doral here. So
Yeah.
I tell you, the food court, it's that. And well, I haven't been there in a little bit, but that was a hangout. And
What I miss is the actual candy station at Sears with the icy machine.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
you
and-
implement that?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. In downtown Doral, we do Halloween with all the retail tenants and we close the street and we have the kids walking up and down. They do that on Miracle Mile too. I mean, I think it's a great retail. I think it's a great retail promotion. I think it's a great event. And especially in a mall, it's even better because you're inside. You know, you're protected and you're safe. There's no cars, so I think absolutely that's something that would continue.
Good deal.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Where would the commercial areas be located?
Ours?
Yeah.
Sure. Can you just take me back to a plan?
Is it around the
It
circles?
would be at the ground floor of the 6-story building. So you can,
Like
you can go
the-
back, you go back.
Next to the corner.
Yeah,
They
so
will be
if you
facing
see
the
the large entertainment space that I was talking about, that oddly shaped building right smack in the middle of the slide,
Right.
that 7-shaped building above it, that would have retail on the ground floor.
That obviously building gonna be a restaurant, you say?
That's our plan. But something in the entertainment, something with an entertainment component. We really want to do something on the rooftop and activate that so that from that rooftop, you can enjoy the programming that's going on in the plaza. And then there'd also be where Fuddruckers and IHOP, those stay. So either that tenant or if they leave and we decide to go in a different direction, that's existing retail that might change its current tenant.
So the idea is to do it around the park area.
That is one of the ideas. If we can find tenants that want to face it, then that would be one. And obviously we'd have to start designing, and with restaurants, especially, in my experience, don't design a restaurant until you have a restaurant operator because they have their own opinions. So maybe they want to face out, maybe they want to face in. So there's still a lot going on, but the choice is there that where we would put the retail could face either side.
This will change the whole dynamic of the mall because you will have 815 units, let's say 1,600 minimum people living there. So they will have more like the critical mass to be the clientele of those restaurants. So this will upgrade the mall. I think that little by little, the restaurants will change and both things would work together.
Through the chair?
Yes, sir.
Well, hopefully this will solve our so-called apartment shortage that we have in Hialeah that they always talk about. These are a lot of apartments, and I'm happy to see a project like this because we really need a project like this. I'm really sick and tired of these little projects coming in, these little quadruplexes and everything coming out. I'm really excited about this project. I have one question for you. Do you remember where the IHOP is right now in the Fuddruckers?
Mhm.
What was there before?
Piccadilly's.
There you go.
Piccadilly.
Oh, come on, man.
Any plans?
And where did Piccadilly's move to?
Oh, they moved to the other mall,
To the
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs Mall.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this project. I would love to see more projects like this in our area. This is gonna bring life to the mall, I feel. I don't think that this is gonna hurt us at all. The traffic, you can tell me it's not gonna be that bad, but it's bad now. I think it's just gonna get slightly worse. But, we have to live with it. It's growing pains. Any plans on doing anything on the opposite side of the malls in the future or something? Because there's nothing
Wait.
there, and it would be nice to level down that Hobby Lobby that nobody goes to, that I don't see. I think you're the only one that goes there.
Hey, me too. I buy supplies there.
No me meta. No, look, we would welcome any opportunity to continue right now. Obviously, like you said, this is a pretty big first step. So there's definitely a lot of work to do now. We would welcome any opportunity to continue this. I mean, we really feel that this would be a great place. And if it's not us, somebody else will come along and do it. But I do believe that West End eventually will get a full facelift.
Are you the same guys who did the same project that's similar in Dayland?
No.
By the Mason?
No, that's not us.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
When I attended the master plan, one of the areas that we spoke about was this Westland Mall. And like in this
area of West Hialeah, there's not like a lot of parks or greenery.
Mhm.
So I like the idea of the little park that you're creating.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a lot of people coming in. So like the more greenery we could add or park or make it like pedestrian friendly, that would be really helpful.
Understood.
And will you really actually consider doing like a little domino park, a little section with domino tables?
It's
That'd be
come up,
amazing if you did
not, it has absolutely come up in different meetings that we've had. And I know that it was smiled upon when it came up. There's no, I can't tell you a specific plan right now, but absolutely we are counting on
Yes.
the domino players that we were told that we would have a revolt if we took their space away. So it is absolutely contemplated to incorporate that in, whether it's like an actual park or we put out some table, like fixed tables that level of design we haven't gotten to yet, but the use is, we absolutely have that in.
I think it's going to add a lot of traffic to 49th Street and 16th Avenue. But the proximity to the Palmetto, that should somewhat lessen the blow, if you will.
Mm.
I like it.
Now, is the bottom parking area, is that gonna be private or is that continue to belong to the mall? The bottom left where next to the,
Over there by the Outback.
Yeah, that belongs to a mall.
so okay. So it stays the same.
Yeah.
Through the chair.
Yes.
When you guys studied the traffic flow, did you think of maybe widening the exits of the area for traffic?
The issue is that right now, a left is not allowed from northbound on 16th Avenue, turning into the mall on the southern entrance. So a left isn't allowed in, it's not allowed out. So widening there wouldn't make much of a difference because nobody's coming in that way right now. It's just an out. So it wouldn't affect the traffic on 16th Avenue so much. On the north, there is, like I said, because we're right there on the property line, in the event that that's redeveloped further, that's where there's a lot more room to do it. So we've done what we can with the site itself, but also thinking about what was just asked, when and if it's developed, then it would be, but the flows go. The thing with commercial, and obviously the traffic study nobody sat out there and counted who was going into Sears by the time we got around. Sears was no longer there, but it is an engineering science. So they know kind of what's coming in simply by the use and the size. That's why I'm saying at night, because everybody thinks residential adds a lot of traffic. And the 800 units sounds like a lot, but those people don't move at the same time the way they do in like an office building, where almost everybody's getting there at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning and leaving at 5:30. This has a much more staggered ingress and egress, so it sort of trickles in and trickles out. And for example, the apartment building on that's attached to our headquarters in Coral Gables, it's in a tight downtown space. The streets are very narrow. It's 250 units. I lived there for 4 years. Like people just sort of like leave and there was never like a lot of traffic. And then when you couple that with the pandemic and so many people are still working from home, I know it sounds like a lot and it may be, there might be some, I'm not arguing with you, Mr. Perez. There are going to be some pops in traffic here and there, but it's not the same thing. Having 1,600 people living in a building is not the same thing as 1,600 people working in a building. Like all the Sears employees that got there at the same time and then got their shift change. They had to be at work in the morning. So they got there at 9, the warehouse guys, the floor people, then the second shift would come and then they would leave when the store closed. That's why our traffic at night shows such a reduction. And our traffic during the day shows a negligible increase. So we're not terribly worried based on our experience. And we want to make sure that it's not uncomfortable because like I said, we're going to own it and rent this. We're not just selling condos and bail.
If there is more, if there will be more traffic, will be because this will be attractive to many and many will come to the mall, but the ones that are there, they have all the amenities there, they have the Publix across the street, probably they will walk to the Publix or they would have the food delivered to their home. So I think this will work to bring a balance and to activate the mall that currently is kind of dead.
One more question to the chair.
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind. You said it's gonna be townhouses here?
There's gonna be the northern piece right there that you see, the part that's right on the property line,
Okay.
that's a row of 15 townhomes.
Are those gonna be for sale or for rent?
No, those are for rent. Those are for rent. If this were to ever be developed on the Penny site, what we would envision is a mirror image, so you're driving in through a row of townhomes. That's why we're trying to set this up to welcome additional development, not to put a square peg in a round hole later, trying to make two different developments look like one.
Any possibilities of maybe in the future making these townhouses, owner or, for sale or it's exclusively rental?
Look, you never know what the market does. It's always possible to go from rental. It's easier to go from rental to condo than it would be to go from, you got to buy everybody out of a condo to turn it into a rental. It's obviously, so I can't say that that's never going to happen. We're not discussing it right now, but
And I would love to see more ownership of properties here. It's a lot of rentals here, but I would love to see more
Yeah, but
ownership.
that is related to the economy,
Yeah.
to the interest rates.
Through the chair. Okay, we spoke about traffic and all that, so we have people living here. My big concern here is the safety.
Mhm.
Yeah, the mall has deteriorated. The Sears no longer there, but now we're bringing a good amount of density to the area. The city has, the 9/11 hasn't been the same since a couple years back. Is there something, incentives or some type of impact fees for police and fire?
Yes, there are.
Yeah,
the city of Hialeah
Police,
recently.
Fire,
yeah.
transportation, parks.
because yeah, that's the biggest thing that, it's the safety of people, If it wasn't for like a rescue now that they implemented actually a month ago in the annex, I probably wouldn't be here. And how many years did it take to actually advocate for that, rescue? And I know these people are gonna be living, sleeping here.
No, Deborah could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the city of Hialeah enacted an ordinance creating impact fees for fire.
Yeah.
Not that long ago, it was about 5, 6,
Yes,
2
parks.
years. Okay, I had it
And
wrong.
we collected that.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, no, I
so
just
know
wanna
for sure that-
Bring it to
yeah.
record.
No, and it's, of course, we're creating an impact. We should pay an impact fee. That makes all the sense in the world, and it helps hire additional firefighters, additional police officers. And we want our residents safe too. So, I mean, absolutely, I think it's a great point. The city does have that. I thought it was a little longer. That's why I said, correct me if I'm wrong. It was.
Plus property taxes, the property taxes, the ad valorem will increase, and that is a benefit.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course, of course.
The closest fire station is the one on 8th Avenue.
Right?
Which
No,
is
I think
very
it's the
close.
park.
Yeah.
No, it's actually the park, Oakland, right? Which is the park on the back? Wild? I think it's Wild. Yeah, Wild, there's a station there. Right, that's the one between the big, yeah. Yeah.
Through the chair?
Yeah.
I love this project. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I grew up with this mall. My first job was in this mall. So in an age of online shopping, it's nice to see that this mall didn't become obsolete like a lot of malls did. On the impact fees and all that, how does it work? Is it in conjunction with construction? Will we have more?
There is a
people
table,
bill?
so depending on the use, for example, for some, I don't remember exactly, but for some of the fees, it's by unit, other ones is by use, so it will be an important amount, yes.
So by the time this is constructed, for example, we will already have, police and fire
They
there.
don't get a building permit if they don't pay the impact fee.
Right, but will the police and fire be available as soon as this is built? We don't have to wait like in Hialeah Heights, they waited a
Well,
long time to
that is
finally get a
different
fire
area.
station.
This is a part of the city that is already developed. There's already, everything is there in the proximity. So I'm like, if they need more police officers
Right.
and that, there will be revenues that will be able to supply for that.
That's what I was asking. Thank you.
And you got the money up front.
Yeah.
Don't forget the candy
That's
station.
dangerous.
And a candy station.
Right,
Okay, any more comments or questions?
No.
Anyone in the audience? There you go. Anyone in the electronic audience? All righty, so closest the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Third.
So we
Perfect.
have a motion by Mr. Jimenez and Mrs. Santiago, and second by Mr. Mason. Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Santiago,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Mason.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
One more question. Just throw it, see what sticks to the wall. Opening time frame.
You mean when we'd be finished? What's the right answer for a bond? on that?
Year, 2 years?
Well, given this hearing, now we're releasing our architects to begin the site plan. The administrative site plan approval will go through its. Then we got to do construction drawings and everything, a couple years. Yeah, couple years, 24, 27 months.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
That's the time frame.
Yeah, it's gonna be different.
Yeah, we need more projects like this.
Yeah.
Not always a bad thing, right? So thank you so much for the support and we really appreciate it.
Don't
Thank you.
forget about the candy station.
Candy State, wait, somebody write that down. write that.
And the Domino Park.
No, that one, they're not letting us forget anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a great night.
Miscellaneous item not requiring advertising. Item number 12, old business. No old business. Item number 13, new business.
Do you want to change the time of the meeting to make it earlier, like if the city council is doing, or 6 p.m. or fine for you?
I would never be able
6
to make
p.m.
it at 5 o'clock.
Okay, 6 p.m.
I rush here to get here at 6.
9 a.m.?
And
Take
also, we want to
transit.
invite you on Friday, we have transit day. This means that you come to City Hall, the ones that work here come to work. You can also come as a guest as the planning and zoning board. So you should make your plans to use transit in the morning and arrive to City Hall between 9 and 9:30. Take the bus, the train or whatever, and then we'll be waiting here for you with a survey that we need you to complete that will help us with the master plan and a breakfast, not only the survey. So I hope to see you, all of you here.
When is it again? And,
Friday, transit day, there are brochures here that we can give you.
This page, it was on the bottom.
Yeah,
I got the-
I gave it. You have a brochure here, you have a QR code for the survey. So I hope you can all come and contribute to all the data collection that we are doing with this.
9 o'clock?
You have to plan to be here between 9 and 9:30.
Okay.
So in my case, I will have to leave my house at 7. If you live in Hialeah, maybe it's better for you. Unless you live in Hialeah Heights, that will be hard.
Don't forget your micro mobility device.
There is a bus to come here. Well, explore, you have until Friday to explore and then on Friday, wake up early and use it. Thank
All right,
you.
anything else?